All right. Hello, everyone. Come on in to Just Connect. I am Dr. Natalie Phillips. I am your host of Just Connect every Monday at 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I have a really cool guest today. So before we get there, I want to remind people of a couple of things. Actually, I'm going to put this up here. So I'm also on YouTube as well. And this is streaming live on YouTube. So you have to, if you want to catch it on YouTube, if you're not on Facebook, you can also share it there and follow Dr. Natalie Phillips, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell. When you hit the notification bell, it shows you every time I've got a new show that drops. And so after it's done streaming live, then it will come back and it'll just sit in my YouTube channel. So before I introduce my guest, I'm going to play this intro video and then we will be back. So enjoy. I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips, host of Just Connect. I am an audiologist, a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a connector. This life is about connecting for the right reasons and to the right people. I believe making authentic and true connections lead to growth, change, and impacting the world. All right. Okay, so my guest today, for those of you who are waiting and those of you who have saw the little picture that I put up, she I wanted to bring her on because we are doing a lot more of online everything. A lot of us are home with the social distancing. A lot of us are not going into work. We're staying safe and healthy, which is a good thing. And I'm noticing that we're using online meetings a lot more for learning, for education, for fun. I've seen people get together and have like family game night. I've seen people to get together and do happy hours with girlfriends or makeup tutorials. I've seen, oh my gosh, okay, I've even watched the NBA. Okay, this is how bad it is when sports are not on, but I have seen the NBA, like I've watched horse on ESPN. Like watching one person play horse with another person, like virtually. It's the weirdest thing. And it's actually somewhat exciting. So, I'm using it more for telehealth and audiology. And then, of course, everybody is using it more for professional meetings and for business meetings, things like that. So I wanted to have this person on and I want to introduce you to her because I want to lead up to how amazing she is. And you guys are going to have so much fun on the show today. So I hope you tune in. I hope you share it out. So this person here is a leader. She is a coach. She is a trainer. She is a team builder. I've had conversations about how she kind of gets teams together. It's incredible, and how they work together. She is a student of life, she says, and she has worked globally in virtual team meetings. In fact, she actually told me the other day, and this is why I wanted her on the show, but she told me shockingly that she has not even sat next to a colleague in the past like 20 years. Like all of her meetings are virtual. So this is not new to her. So I was thinking she's definitely a pro at sharing some of these things with us. But the last thing I want to say is that she's seriously like my best friend in the whole entire world. So sorry, guys. You're going to love her. You're going to fall in love with her. And like, that's my best friend. So this is my best friend. I can't believe she's on my show. I'm so excited. Okay. So this is Tiffany Brown. Hello, Tiffany.
Hey, Natalie. Hey, Facebook.
We have some people coming on saying hello already. Hi, Benji. Good to see you. Leanne, it's also good to see you here as well. You guys are going to absolutely love this woman. Okay. So Tiffany, tell me a little bit more about your experience with just online meetings, whether it's fun, whether it's professional. I think it's funny because this is so not even new to you. This is new to a lot of people as far as how do I connect? Where's the link? Oh my gosh, I got a password and everything like that. So I want you to share with my audience of where did you come from as far as how did you get going on online meetings and how did you get to be such a pro at this?
Well, first of all, before I get into all of that boring stuff, I want to tell you how excited I am to be on Natalie Phillips's Connect for Excellence show, my debut. Hopefully, if I do well, this will not be the last time.
It's not going to be the last time. We actually planned another fun show for you guys. Okay, so Tiffany and I, I'm just going to say it, and we'll see if people want us to come on and do this with another friend of ours. But we might actually do an Asian, not Asian show. And I was thinking, should I do it on Just Connect? So if you want to see an Asian, not Asian show, we haven't really planned it out, but we have a few little points that we wanted to share. Okay, put your comments up there. And then also like throw me some hearts if you want to show the Asian, not Asian. Okay, we technically have another Asian on here, Dr. Amit Gozalia. He wants to know, can we curse here? You can curse all you want on that side of it. But you know what? I'm thinking maybe Dr. Gozalia wants to be on our Asian, not Asian show. So if you want to see that show, see, he just says I'm Asian because he and I laughed about, okay, I'm just going to tell this because this is going to be funny. So Dr. Gozalia and I, so we always, we joke around. And I told him he was going into a store. And I told him one day that, do you ever like walk into a store and if it's not your husband and your wife, but you're both Asian? Like I literally walk way away because I don't want people to assume that we're Asian and that immediately it means that that's my husband or my spouse. And he goes, and then I was like, I can't believe I just told him that. And he said, oh my gosh, I do the same thing. So what in the world? Okay, so maybe we need to have our Asian, not Asian show. So
I think we need to plan it.
Okay. And I think that there's a lot of people that would love it. Okay. So Dr. Amit Gozalia says, yes, hands in the air. Sounds good. Anthony says that we could do a Tiger Mom show. I could. That's a good one. So I might come back and do that. All right. So all right, but this is not the Asian. Sorry. No Asian show. You will have to tune in that on that, and I will definitely see if we can kind of get a few people on there. I think it would be kind of funny. All right, back to the seriousness but fun of this show about online meetings. I want to learn a little bit more about where you've come from and tell me a little bit more about what you've experienced.
Sure. So, like you said, over the last 20 years, I've never sat next to any of my colleagues. And it was interesting that as I was sitting here doing a virtual meeting and a lot of people reaching out going, hey, Tiffany, how do I do this? How do I do that? I realized that, oh my word, that the majority of my professional life has been virtual in a lot of respects. Of course, unless I'm going to a conference or I'm going to go see my colleagues and friends out in the world of audiology, then I'm there live. But when I'm not there live, I'm virtual. So, before this, I worked for a deaf and hard of hearing organization, which of course they use a lot of video relay, video conferencing. And so my whole world has been in this little square right here. I figured that I would share some fun tips today about how to do a fun but effective virtual I'm going to call it engagement, not meeting. Because awesome. Have a meeting. So let's talk about virtual engagements because I know that there were a lot of people now who are connecting on, Facebook as well as, video calling and all that good stuff. So we'll talk about a fun video engagement stuff. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. So I'm going to give you some tips on this. And like Natalie said, I am a student of life. So I want you to know that a lot of these tips that I'm going to share with you are things that I've experienced or have happened to me. There are fun stories, funny stories, snippets of them that I'll share. I am not going to share any names, no matter how much Natalie begs to protect the innocent, mostly myself.
You can put your comments up. If you know who this person is that you think she's talking about, you can put the comments up.
So as I was thinking about all of this, really virtual engagement is around these central things. First is a camera, right? If you're going to connect virtually, have a camera. Turn your camera on. I can't believe the number of people who are afraid of turning their camera on when they get on a virtual call. Turn on your camera. People are saying things like, oh, I don't want others to see me. Well, you know what? When you meet face to face, guess what they're doing? They're looking at you. So turn on your camera. But before you turn on your camera, make sure that you look at your surroundings and yourself. So when you turn on your camera, look to see what else is in the room. Nobody wants to see dirty clothes on the floor, right? Also, nobody wants to see an unmade bed, which happened to me last week talking to Natalie. I walked into the bedroom. I was like, oh, and here, by the way, is my unmade bed, right? With my friend that I'm traveling around the house, I think that's okay. But if you're talking to others that are not close to you, just take a look at your surroundings. Today, before I got started, there was a big red soccer ball sitting in the corner of our room. Had to go, right? And also to just making sure that you look camera ready as well. So comb your hair. Nobody wants to see your bedhead, right? Make sure you put on something professional. Nobody needs to see what's happening below this line, but above this line, it should always look professional, right? And put together. So combing your hair, putting on some clothes. Ladies, don't wear tube tops or strapless clothing. It makes you look naked. And also take a look at where your camera is pointing. One time, the way that the room was situated, I had my camera pointing towards a bathroom. So here's a funny story number one. Camera's pointing towards me and the bathroom is behind me. And of course, a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, decided that they wanted to go work out. They were all hot and sweaty, called me up and said, hey, listen, I'm swinging by your place. I need to take a shower before I get on that train. No worries. So they come over, get in the bathroom. I let them know, hey, I have a video call. They said, no problem. And then proceeded to go into the bathroom. So I figured they would stay in the bathroom the whole time. Nope. In the middle of my video call, they come walking out of the bathroom in their full glory. No towel, nothing, and standing over my shoulder. So, life lesson, do not have your camera pointing towards the bathroom. I also had a colleague who did the same thing. And while we were on the call, her family would go in and out of the bathroom the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so be aware of your surroundings when you turn on the camera, but definitely turn on the camera. It's the only way to connect authentically with people when you're doing these virtual type meetings.
I agree.
Cool.
I agree. And I think that that's funny. I've been doing some consults and things in audiology and making some appointments virtually and doing telehealth that way. And I did ask them to turn their camera on. They just, I was just me sitting there talking to a name and I was thinking, okay, I can't see you in person to do this consult, but I would love to see you now. So would you be okay turning on the camera? And they did. And so they were totally fine. But it is one of those things where you get used to it. I totally get it. But there is that connection that I like to see your smile. I like to see you nodding your head and, things like that help make that connection because you can't be right there in front of them. And this is the next best thing, I think. So I totally agree. Turn on your camera.
Absolutely. But let people know that you would like that as well so that they can be camera ready as well. You don't want to be primping for your, video call. And then all of a sudden you go and you surprise them with, hey, so turn on your camera and they're not camera ready. So just let them know ahead of time, hey, I'd love to do a video call. I'd love to be able to see your face. And that way then they know that they can get camera ready as well.
Awesome.
Right?
Love that. Yes.
Yeah. The other thing too with the camera that I want you guys to be aware of is also the surrounding it. I have something called the Aunt Candy look. The boys and I laugh about it all the time because we have this aunt who likes to get on video calls, but this is all she will allow us to see. You can only see her eyes. Aunt Candy never lets us see anything really below her mouth because she doesn't want us to see her chins. She's like, I acquired another chin today. So just also be aware that everybody can see your full face because especially in the world of audiology, facial cues are really important when you're talking to someone. So make sure that your camera is situated so that your head is in the center and just like Natalie's and mine are, and that everyone can see at least your mouth when you're talking.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's like that neighbor in Home Improvement too, where it was just, the eyes, which again, I mean, you can see each other with the eyes, but at the same time, yes, it's a great idea to be able to pick up on those visual cues and use your hands if you want to, but being able to use the visual cues of the mouth and being able to pick up on speech that way is great.
Absolutely. And your background is really important. And though you can see that I have a very bright window over here, I have to put the shades down. But when there's too much light filling the room, I call this the witness protection program look. Because what the light does is it fills the room behind you and it either washes out your face or makes you look really dark. So nobody wants to see anybody in the witness protection program. So also be conscious of the lighting that's going on around you. And I don't know, Natalie, have you had some friends who've tried to do a virtual background?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I do have a green screen, but it doesn't work on Zoom. It works on StreamYard, but I don't know why it doesn't work on the Zoom. And so like I become a negative. It's really weird. So I ended up not using it. I still have to figure out how to use it. I know that you're supposed to have some great lighting on your green screen itself. I think it's really cool though. I love watching green screens, except for today. Actually, I had a patient who we were talking and he would hold up his phone to show me what his app was doing. And I was like, I can't see that. It's disappearing in your green screen. I said, can you please hold it in front of, so he had to hold his phone right in front of his face so that I could see it because it disappeared. So any green screen or virtual background tips that you have?
Well, first of all, test them out before you get on, because like we found out with you last week, Natalie became the negative to her green screen. So the picture showed up on her body, but it didn't show up behind her.
And in my eyeballs too.
I know. It was so
freaky.
funny.
Yeah.
It was funny. But yeah, test them out. There's also some really cool sites like West Elm, which is a furniture site.
Oh, yeah.
You can get some really cool like pictures of some amazing living rooms and offices and things that, you know, I could never afford. But you could have that picture and then you could load it up as your virtual background. So if you're in an area where you can't always control the things that are going on around you, you know, I have a friend who, again, he said, the only place I can have this camera facing is towards this door. And it's a door that leads to his home office. But the door is constantly being open and closed. His dog apparently likes to come in and out. He has a small child, so he doesn't want to shut it all the way. The small child likes to come in and out. So the virtual background actually hides all of that. So we never see the door opening and closing. So those virtual backgrounds are a lot of nice. There are some really cool sites. I love the furniture sites. And all you have to do is save the picture as a JPEG. And that way then you can upload it as a virtual background. So take a look, have some fun with it. There's some outer space virtual backgrounds. But of course, you want to make sure that it's aligned with whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're in a professional environment, maybe you not put yourself in outer space, but you can choose maybe more of an office-like background so that, you know, you can still maintain that professional look that you're looking for. But when you're family and friends, try out some fun stuff. Right? Have some fun with it.
I love that. I'm just putting that up here.
Sure.
Okay. I love that too. All right, there you go. Download a JPEG in furniture stores.
I love how you multitask on your show.
I'm like, I'm going to type it right now. Okay.
If you can see Natalie's desk, it's like mission control. Like she's got computers and phones and all kinds of things going on right in front of her.
Yep. And I've got my speaker and I've got my new microphone here that's just like right in front of me. So I'm trying to like type over and around. Awesome. Okay. I like that. That's a good tip.
You ready for my next tip?
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the microphone and muting and unmuting, right? Because one of the things that can be really tough is you can't always control the noises that may be going on around you. One time I was in a hotel and I didn't realize that the lot next to me, the hotel was having something built. So therefore, then there was this huge lot going on and a lot of construction. So I was muting and unmuting myself. But being aware of your microphone. One of the things that I have a colleague, and man, this person can type as fast as some people can talk, and their fingers are going, but you can hear the thrumming of their fingers because they're utilizing the microphone of their laptop for the meeting, and the mic is on. So it's all you hear is this as you're talking. So be aware of your microphone, be aware of where it is, what you're using. And I'm not going to tell you, there is a lot of controversy between muting and unmuting. Some people say, mute yourself whenever you're not talking. Other people say, don't ever mute yourself. I'm going to say, make sure that you know where your mute button is so that you can mute and unmute quickly. Right? You don't want to have yourself muted. Sometimes the most brilliant things come out of my mouth when I've been muted, right? And I'm talking, and people are waving me down and they go, we can't hear you. Oh, and I can never repeat myself. It only comes out right once. So make sure that you know where your mute and your unmute button is. Also too, with the microphone, make sure, and this may also go with your background, know where you're seated, right? So one time I was in Denmark. I was sitting in a restaurant having a meeting, a casual meeting, and thank God it was with a friend, a colleague, but a colleague and work friend. And I was sitting in this really cool burger joint. The burger joint was called the Cock and Bull, right? Cock being the bird, bull being the burger. every time an order was up, the cook would yell, "Cock up!"
Oh my God.
Which meant the chicken sandwich was ready. So these are some of the things that you need to be aware of with your microphone as well. So I learned very quickly to figure out where my mute and unmute was, though I laughed hysterically the whole time.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
All right. I hope I was allowed to say that on your show. We're talking about chicken sandwiches though,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
Right.
So microphone. And also to make sure that when you have your microphone on, that it is close to your mouth. I can't tell you the number of times I have a colleague who wears these big like earmuff microphones with the boom microphone that comes up. And then she takes the microphone and she flips it up on top of her head in between meetings. And then when she starts the meeting, she forgets that it's sitting up there. We're like, oh, your microphone. So always make sure you know exactly where the microphone is. The other thing too is women, I will say, be cognizant of the jewelry that you're wearing. Because also too, like you can see right here, my microphone is sitting right here. If you have dangly earrings, it could also hit your microphone, creating a lot of distraction on the other side. So for women, make sure. And then watch your beard. The other day, I was on a call with a guy. Apparently, there's a lot of beard growing contests going on out there right now. And this guy's beard kept scratching across the microphone, and it just sounded like.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah, so men, be careful of your beards with your microphones as well. Not just for women, for men too.
Nice.
So microphone use is really important.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Awesome.
Yeah. The other thing too is when you're on the microphone, remember that the microphone is on. One time I was doing a presentation and this woman didn't realize the microphone is on. And she kept making comments, but she thought that she was making comments without like just to herself. But instead she was vocalizing the comments to everyone that was on the call. I figured out how to mute just her microphone because I was tired of listening to her inside head voice coming out. So those are just some helpful hints on the microphone. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So then I also have a helpful hint about eating. Natalie, have you ever been on a call with somebody who's trying to eat?
Yeah. If he's still here, Dr. Amit Gozalia is like the funniest. He makes me laugh because he tried to be so sneaky and like bent over and tried to eat. And I called him right on it. And I was like, hello, I can see that you're eating. Just either eat or like don't eat. It was so hilarious. So tell me about eating tips.
So I would say that, first of all, if you're eating with family and friends and you've all agreed upon this, because sometimes our lunch dates have to be virtual now, but it has to be something that's agreed. But I would also say choose something that's easy to eat. Don't choose something that you're going to be wearing all over your face. It's going to be all over your hands because you're going to be having to touch buttons and keys still, right? So choose something easy to eat. Also, don't choose something that's really crunchy or make sure that you're muting yourself. One time I was on with a colleague who was eating potato chips and all I could hear was the crunching of her potato chips as I was talking. Finally, I was like, can you please mute your microphone while you're eating your yummy potato chips? Yeah. So think about what it is that you're eating. Professionally, you shouldn't eat while you're having a meeting, right? So make sure you keep all the food away from you. Oftentimes I get asked, well, what about drinks? I'm okay with the occasional drink or a sip of the drink. You want to make sure that you keep your mouth from getting too dry or your throat from getting dry. But I often like to drink with a straw. The reason why I like the straw is I have watched so many people spill all over themselves while they're on video call because you're multitasking, right? You're looking at someone, you're looking at yourself, you're trying to drink. I have watched more people spill things on themselves while they're trying to drink. So I often like to use a straw. So that's a pro tip.
After I quit laughing, oh my gosh, I got to type out another one here. Okay.
Yeah. So my last tip, can you believe it? My last tip, and of course, it doesn't have to be the last tip, but the one that I wrote down is stay seated and present, right? When you're having a video call with somebody. I once had a friend who put me on video, then proceeded to get up and start her laundry. Then she went into the kitchen and decided to put some things in the dishwasher. So the whole time we were talking, all I saw was the square and no person in it.
Oh no.
And I felt like she didn't want to talk to me. And it wasn't Natalie.
I don't do that. I stay present and seated. Yes.
Yeah, stay present, stay seated, especially if you're on a meeting with work colleagues, right? You want to make sure that people see that you're attended, that you're present, that what it is that they're saying to you is important. But also, too, when you're with your family, all of those things still apply. I often find that being present isn't just about being on the screen, but being present means stay off your phone, right? I see oftentimes, you ever see somebody do this? Where they're like trying to look like they're looking at you, but their eyes are averted down and you know that they're looking at something else, right? This is not a time for multitasking. You're having some one-on-one time with somebody, whether it's a colleague or close friend or family, stay present with them. This is a great way to be connected. And at a time where I saw all these Easter posts of virtual Easter visits where people are like standing on lawns and waving at loved ones inside their home, or the drive-by Easter hello as you're driving by. This is our time to get to see people. So stay present, stay seated. Try not to move around a lot. I do have a swivel chair.
Yep.
And yeah, one time I was on a call
that is
with somebody who swiveled the whole time. I thought they were doing a core exercise while they were talking to me. Right? So when you're seated and you're present, you want to make sure that you're still. No big movements. Don't try to do a core exercise while you're talking to someone on the other side. So these are just some of the tips, right? And of course, there's lots of things that we could talk about, in virtual. But I'll tell you some statistics that I read. I read that the purchase of iPads in the senior citizen age group has really exploded right now. So what that means to me is that a lot of seniors miss their family, miss their friends. So they're purchasing iPads so that they can get on video and stay connected. Right? Yep. And so that old adage of you can't teach a dog new tricks, apparently these seniors have decided that they're going to teach themselves how to be connected. So for a show like you here, Connecting for Excellence, it's so awesome to see that is out there and that statistic is high.
Yeah. And, I'm looking back at your tips, and I'm going to kind of put them up, and I just kind of typed them as you were talking. So you might have had 2 in 1 and things like that. But, some of them are definitely related to videos, right? So turn on your camera, look at your surroundings, I put in comb your hair, but, things like that, no witness protection program lighting. So these are for people who are just joining in. I'm just kind of reviewing some of Tiffany's virtual engagement tips because I wanted to show that, again, this is, a video one, testing the virtual backgrounds and green screens, where to find virtual backgrounds. But these that you did the drinking one, but okay, this one about knowing where your mute is on your microphone, your mute and your unmute. This one right here, where either agree or not agree, and then if you are going to eat, then eat something that's not messy or crunchy. And then this one, especially, this one is the one that I love, that is kind of your last one about staying present and seated. This should be, some of those tips really apply to even phone calls too. I remember being on a phone call and I could tell the person was walking around, cooking dinner, doing things, which I don't mind some of the time, but all the time I just feel like you're just not even listening. And I love that the video part of it brings you into, you are making eye contact, and Tiffany and I, we have phone calls every so often. And again, because we don't get to see each other very often, we can sit on a phone call for like 3 hours, and we always Zoom. Sometimes it'll be, on a Saturday morning, and I'll roll out of bed and I won't have makeup on. And that's totally different, right? But at the same time, she has brought me into like, we're doing a Zoom call. I'm like, all right, fine, but I love it because I actually get to see her. And so whether it's, professionally, whether it's a meeting, whether, it's for fun, where like I was saying, women get on and do happy hours. You can do a family game at night, whether it's just one-on-one like this with girlfriends, just having a conversation like this, it really helps to have the video on. And it's just something that I think adds that extra connection that you miss just by doing a regular phone call with no video. And I don't know why, but it seems so much easier doing Zoom. although we probably both have FaceTime, like we don't FaceTime though,
Yeah.
and I've used different apps. Marco Polo, we've done that. Oh my gosh, we've had so much fun with Marco Polo. But Marco Polo is hard to have a conversation because you have to record something and then you send it to the person and then you have to wait and then they come back. So it's not like a real time type of thing. So, for those of people who are maybe using Zoom or GoToMeetings, also you can do with video, but those tend to be a little more like slides, and I don't see people on,
Professional.
yeah, as much as Zoom. I want to encourage people to get out there, and like Zoom is free for 40 minutes, more than 3 people. So you can have a free account and just do one-on-one calls like forever, like for 3 hours, if you're going to be like Tiffany and I. So what are some of the fun things that maybe you have done with video or not conferencing, but online type of things?
Well, so you mentioned Marco Polo, and I find it really interesting that we say, and you're right, that if you're going to have a conversation with somebody on video, might as well just get on, either a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. But in the deaf world, Marco Polo can be used to leave a video message to somebody. Instead of like text messaging them, they can video message them. So it's like a voicemail. So, there are lots of different ways. And, if you use those types of things and you don't need a response back right away, it could be okay.
True.
And people get to see your face, get a lot of fun filters, right? And one of the things that you mentioned was about family game night. Again, we have family that's all over the country. And I think these are some of the fun things that are emerging right now, right? Where people, I think one lady that I spoke with said, I have seen my grandchildren more now throughout this time. She gets than before. And she's like, isn't that crazy? She said, because we keep thinking, oh, well, we'll go visit, or, oh, they'll call. She said, now it's just like a regular thing. The family gets on a call once a week and they connect.
That's so cool. Yeah. And, and people that are watching right now, if you have some fun ways to use, this type of online conferencing system that's technically supposed to be professional, but we're having it more for fun, put in your ways that you're using it. Because again, I love to learn from everybody. So yes, I have Tiffany here, but I know that some of you who are tuning in might have some great ways that you want to use this and that you've used it. So share it with everybody. And whether it's professional or not, so my uncle, I was telling Tiffany earlier before we jumped on that my uncle actually called and said that he finally got their generation up all on what's it called? I forgot which one we're going to use. I don't know. It's like Microsoft Team or whatever, some other type of thing. And he said, so that was our generation. We got all 5 of us to get the video and everybody to use it. But now we're going to invite your generation and your families, and we're going to have a family game night next Saturday. So he's all the way out in Hawaii. And so we're going to have it at 8:00 my time, but 4:00 out in Hawaii. And we're going to have all of our kids. Each family is going to have a time for about 5 minutes for us to just kind of catch up with each other. And then we're going to have a family game night of what we call gimme gimme. So he's creating a game, and then we're going to all have, he's going to say gimme gimme, and then you have to go grab something from your house. And the first person who's going to show it on video is actually going to get a point, things like that. So we're going to try it for family game night from Hawaii all the way to, we've got family in Washington, Colorado, all over the place. Our friend Craig Casper says he uses Skype for recording podcasts. Yeah. And Craig just started up with his podcast again. He has a great podcast called The Bravest Life. So I know that it's partly on video as well, right, Craig? So he uses Skype. He does a great job. He's got a really good setup. It sounds really, really good. So check out his podcast called The Bravest Life by Craig Casper. And he's a fellow audiologist. So I love how
I joined the show when he was on.
Too, yeah. So and it's really cool. He has a great story. He's been on my show, and he's going to be on our All Things Odd pretty soon. But again, I love how we're all audiologists, and we have the one thing in common, well, many things in common, but one thing is to make sure that we stay connected with everybody. We love technology, and, having this conversation of using video for people to use visual cues is really big, as far as getting people involved and, people that are just scrolling by, having something moving like I have down here, really catches the eye. Having the laughter, the smiles, things like that while Tiffany's telling her crazy stories, things like that. All of those things you don't necessarily get when you don't have video. Even though you're laughing and you're on the phone, but you don't see the video, it's not the same. So I love that we're able to use this technology to be able to connect better to others.
So Natalie, if you're talking about technology, there's another one. I don't know if everybody knows of it, but I know that it's big with my family, but Kahoot. Have you ever played Kahoot?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
How do you spell it? I'm going to type it out in the comments.
It's Kahoot! Kahoot. So all you have to do is share a PIN number and everybody can join in on a game. So we were doing a Kahoot game the other night, the Disney Kahoot. The Disney Kahoot was really hard, by the way. I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to rack it up here on the Disney Kahoot. No way. So those types of fun things, using technology, again, we were laughing so hard with the family.
So Kahoot is a game that everybody joins in, like you said, with a code. And actually, we played it at Whitex. You guys used Kahoot there, and that was the first time I ever played it. But I'm not as competitive as Tiffany. Okay, I spent a night at Tiffany's house in New York when she was there, and we were playing this game. I taught her how to play diminishing trumps. Oh my gosh, we couldn't go to sleep until she won. Oh my gosh, it was so awful.
Ask my nieces and nephews. I would never let them go to bed until Aunt Tiff won a game.
But Kahoot is so much fun because it is something that you can join in online. And that's what I was thinking about too, with family game night is everybody has questions and then you just answer it right on your phone or whatever technology you want. And then the points are taken care of too, because at the end, you don't even have to calculate. It all takes care of all your point system and everything.
And it says, right, it tells you who the leader is every single time. So it's about how fast you answer. Well, of course, the correct answer, and then how fast you answer. And then every turn, it tells you who's in the lead.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, I like that too. Ooh, I think I'm going to have to get some friends together to play Kahoot. I think that's going to be fun.
It's a good time. It really
Except
is.
Just know if you have Tiffany that you're going to stay up until she wins. So you might as well just, I don't know if you're going to throw the game or what, but you're going to stay up until she at least wins one.
I'm so competitive. I know I have to win. Just one. It doesn't have to be every game. Just one game.
Man. Well, go ahead.
No, it's been so much fun connecting. And a lot of people, I don't know, you may or may not know, but Natalie and I don't even live in the same town. That's what's so hard about all of this, is that she is in Denver and I am in St. Pete Beach. So this is the only way that we can connect. So video calling has been really tremendous for us and our friendship, as we try to talk to each other on a regular basis.
Yeah. And then I get to see your family too, because we do have heads that peek in every so often, or laps that get sitting on, or things like that, which is, again, between friends, totally fine. Yeah. But at the same, so you can have fun with online technology like this and friendships, and it can still grow, be present. Like she said, be seated, be committed. Everything, it starts with commitment, right? And be creative too. It's kind of fun, like playing Kahoot or something like that will still keep you connected. And have fun with it. But then on the professional side, we wanted to really bring up, Tiffany had some great tips of thinking about your background, thinking about your lighting, thinking about your microphone, and then anything really else that might possibly happen while you are on your call. Honestly, because we have so many people home, before I get and try to do my show, I always yell down or I text everybody and I'm like, everybody off the Wi-Fi, I'm getting on for a meeting, things like that. Anything that could possibly make glitchy things or, things happen like that. I mean, you can't control everything. Control the controllables is what a really good friend tells me all the time, but you can still have fun. You can still be better at what you're doing as well. And so before, even with Tiffany, we practiced trying to get her on this platform, but she definitely said, for me, hearing me was better when I plugged my microphone in. So I did. And then also you see this, because I never really have this because I used my computer. And so I think a couple of my shows, I did have an echo of my guest. And so having something plugged in as well also helps. And so that's another tip. Just kind of be cognizant of ways that you can better yourself, even at doing what you're doing. So, yeah. So I absolutely had a lot of fun. Is there anything else?
This was so much fun.
We could go on forever. I told Tiffany before we go on, people are going to be mad because we can stay on the phone for 3 hours at a time. So this could be a show for 3 hours.
The Asian Not Asian show is going to be that long. We get a minute to join us.
I might just go live on my page, but I really think that we're going to do the Asian Not Asian and dispel some myths, and maybe we'll have some myths that we have on our own. But I think we're going to do the Asian Not Asian show. So for those of you who are just joining or you're catching the replay, stay tuned because I think we're going to do a really fun show. You might as well have fun with technology. Yeah.
Agreed. And Natalie, I just want to thank you for all the work that you do for all, talking about connection. It's probably the most important thing right now while we're all staying at home is to stay connected. So the work that you do and the people that you have on, this has been so much fun for me. And I know that the videotapes, the tips and such as, these are all important things to think about, but have fun with videoing. Right? Get on and just connect with people and let them know that you care about them, that you're thinking about them, and and you want to share a laugh or two.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. And again, sorry guys, but she's my BFF. So I'm just going to leave it there. So, but again, it's something that, I met Tiffany and it was one of those things where, oh my gosh, she challenges me. She, supports me, and it goes both ways. I have a great book that's coming out that talks about just keeping accountable with somebody and growing relationships, things like that. And I've got just a few people, and Tiffany also did teach me about having really good people near you, and it doesn't have to be a lot of people. And so again, this is one of my people, my persons, anyway, but yeah, so I love having her around, and hopefully people will connect and find that person, because I think it's super important in order for you to grow better, stronger, and to impact more people. So with that, I'm going to thank Tiffany for being here and sharing her experience. And I will be back next Monday at 5:00 p.m. at Mountain Standard Time on Just Connect. So thank you guys so much for joining in, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.